The Talk to Me station is now the Talk to Me network with 5 great ways to listen. Anywhere in Brevard County, you can listen on AM 1510 with 50,000 watts of power. In Melbourne and Palm Bay, tune into FM 100.7. In Viera and Suntree, listen on FM 94.7. And in Cocoa, Rockledge, and Merritt Island, tune into FM 99.9. And of course, stream us online worldwide at 1510WMEL.com. This is the Talk to Me network.
AM 1510, WMEL.
This is Joe Steckler, folks, your host for Helping Seniors, the radio arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard County. And our purpose is to educate, inform, and connect seniors to resources. Our phone number for Kay Kaiser, our information specialist at the office, is 473-7770. So the people that sponsor programs on WMEL and people that help sponsor us have their signal and their presence made known from as far south as West Palm Beach, all the way up north to Jacksonville, and over on the other side of Orlando. And that's a tremendous area of coverage, and it tremendously broadens what we can do. And that's one of the subjects that Kay and I are going to talk about today, and that's awareness and why it's so important for people to know about it. But think for a minute, folks, about our sponsors and some of the proposals that Kay and I are going to talk to you about on the air today, which are extremely important to seniors. Sponsors for this show include the Eye Institute, Solid Bite Dental Implant with Dr. Lee Sheldon, Bill Johnson, elder law attorney, this radio station, Woodstock Hospital Systems, Levin Home Care. You need to ask some questions of Kay at the office at 473-7770.
Right.
We got a bunch of other sponsors. We'll mention them on the second half of the show. But let's get to what Kay and I want to talk to you about today. And I've simply titled this show, Why Support a Nonprofit? And those of you that take Florida Today, there was an article about the several thousand nonprofit organizations that exist in Brevard County, Florida. Most of them we never know about. Some of the bigger nonprofits that do a lot of work we don't know about, and I have my own reasons why they don't publicize their work. And one of them is the fact that if they publicize what they're doing, too many people are going to want their services, so the money they have available through the grant process is simply not going to last. And they're going to have to, we used to say, pull in your stomach and make something good happen.
Right.
And Kay, you're smiling about that. Why are you smiling?
Well, I mean, there are so many different nonprofits out there, but Joe, what makes Helping Seniors of Brevard so unique and so different is, case in point, what we're doing here on the radio today. We outreach besides in-reach and take calls, but we're promoting through all our media efforts, whether it be radio, television shows, our printed newsletter, 8 pages in Senior Scene magazine, articles in Hometown News, Ebony News Today, Spotlight magazine, and next coming is Aldea Today, which will tap into the Hispanic market as well. But everything is archived and put on our website so that you can even search. If you're looking for a specific subject to learn more about, you'll find it, either in a print, TV, or radio format. So that education is so powerful because so many people that I talk to, 99.9%, they call because they cannot navigate the elder system.
Yeah.
Period.
That makes a big difference. So, the reason we're talking about this, folks, today is because I think it's time, and I've been doing this for 26 years here in Brevard County, it's time for the people that listen to the radio shows, watch the TV shows, read the articles in the newspapers, realize that nonprofits have to raise money in order to pay the bill. For years I've gone through the grant process and I've appealed to the United Way and have simply not been able to break into that funding because they don't take on new people. That's not right.
That's right.
You go to the county for funding, and somebody sent me an email this morning and said, well, Joe, what guidance do these county-based organization funding people that make the funding bill, where do they get their guidance? It's a good question.
Yes, it is a good question.
It's a very good question. Where does the guidance come from? Because when I talk to the commissioners and some of the staff, They don't have any idea.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons we have a Commission on Aging. The Commission on Aging is totally ineffective because it does not have a plan for what it's going to do.
And that's sad because the people that are listening to this radio program may or may not know the amount, a percentage of seniors in Brevard County. And aren't we what is it? I want to say 24th?
Well, no, we're the,
in the country.
I forget, it's the 7th or the 24th. I forget right now.
Yeah.
We are either the 7th or the 24th oldest county in the United States in terms of 3,067 counties in terms of the number of people over the age of 65.
Right.
You know, whether it's 7th or 24th, my gosh, that's
huge.
Huge, Kay. It's huge.
And if we go by AARP standards, 50 plus, in Brevard County, that equates to almost 1 in every 2 people.
Yeah. Well,
that's
the statistics
huge.
on that that have come out, and they're presented by the Brevard County itself. Roughly 254,000 out of the 454,000 people in the county are over the age of 55. Over the age of 55.
That's right.
And 22.1% are over the age of 65. And, this is a difficult subject to talk about, Kay, because I happen to also have been appointed by the governor to sit on the Children's Services Council. And, I see it from two sides, the children's side and the senior side. Yet, I'm a senior, and I'm well aware of the fact that most of our listeners and readers are not even aware of the significance of these statistics because there's just no place they're publicized.
Right.
That's why we do this radio show, and that's why we do all the stuff in the newspaper and on television, so that people know about not just what we do, but they know about what the daycares like Sarah Care, Riverview, the Alzheimer's Foundation, they all have daycares.
Sure.
None of them are specific to any type of thing. They all take care of the elderly, regardless of what they say they take care of.
And I
know because I've done it.
Right, and I want to put a shout out to our sponsors, because everyone that participates with you on the radio or TV or an article in our newsletter, they are the experts in their field. And I know that when I get a caller who's looking for legal assistance, when I give them Bill Johnson, I know Bill Johnson's going to take care of him. So these people are specialized in what we're really, and we feel confident in referring our particular resources, because those are people that are not going to take advantage of the seniors, and people that, they don't, gone are the days of picking up your telephone book and going through the yellow pages to try to find a resource. It's just kind of...
We're going to talk about 3 new networks, folks, that we're helping seniors is trying to put in place. We'll talk about that on the second part of the show, and I think you'll want to listen because it's going to become very important to you. But right now we have a caller. Sandy, you're on. You there?
Hello.
Hi, Sandy.
I'm here. I was listening earlier your topic about, the nonprofits and stuff, and seniors not getting access to them. You call and you either don't get calls back or you've got to be persistent. Mm-hmm. And it's just very, very frustrating trying to negotiate the system to get services. And I have a lot of others. I'm a senior citizen. I have a lot of senior citizen friends. They just give up.
Yeah, and you're one who hasn't given up. I know that you told me that we go back to almost a year in talking with you, Sandy, is the fact that you were trying to make plans for getting various things in motion because you were going to have a foot surgery, and it was very frustrating. You were repeating your story time and time again to several different individuals. Isn't that correct?
I won't mention the name of the nonprofit, but I will say this, that I've been last 6 months, I knew it was getting down to I had to have it done. Mm-hmm. And I had given my personal information not once, but at least a dozen times, and figured I would be on a list, that they had to be putting my information in a computer, start a electronic file, if anything, about my name, and more than just my name and phone number. Well, come to find out, it hadn't been, and I had received a couple of calls thinking they knew what, they were calling about, and I called and said, "Can you clarify?" And it was with the same agency, but a totally different situation. And it was very frustrating when the person said to me, she's very nice, but she said, "All I have is your name and number, and you came up off the waiting list." And so I didn't even know what she was referring to, because I'd asked for several different services because I'm alone, and I was going to have this surgery done, and I would be literally a shut-in for somebody that's an active senior, driving themselves, doing everyday things that most people take advantage of and can do and take for granted.
I think the bottom line is, Sandy, that you didn't give up, and a lot of people get frustrated when they try to get, and I know even, Joe, when you've called different, even in Tallahassee, and being put on hold for up to minutes just to try to get a straight answer. But that's the interesting thing that I think that a lot of people listening to this program today, that there are good resources out there. But unfortunately, unlike what we do, I always return calls. I don't care. If I don't get to you, if you leave a voice message and I'm on the other line, I'll get to you. And I return calls in the evening and weekends too. But the bottom line is that a lot of times it's frustrating just to try to get a straight answer too. And I understand, but you didn't give up. You were fighting your battle, right?
Yep, I'm persistent.
Yep.
Well, Sandy, be persistent, and any way that helping seniors can help you accomplish what you need to accomplish, you can call Kay and she will help you. You know that.
Well, I've referred a lot of even dealing with some different people that come in for home health care and stuff that are helping me. They have voiced the same frustrations that they have these clients, and they thought certain agencies would be able to help them because they are seniors. They're 60 plus. We're not talking AARP 50 plus. We're talking 60 plus. And they voiced their frustrations. Well, did you call so-and-so, and why didn't so-and-so do this, XYZ? And I said, they had said, I don't meet the criteria. And they've been honest with me on a personal level to say, well, they're running into this a lot with other clients that they have.
Wait a minute, Sandy. Are you saying that agencies that are helping you with your post-op stuff are saying that they have clients that they're trying to service that have had problems similar to what you're having with some of the same organization?
Yes, sir. And I can't mention the names.
No, I don't want you to. I don't want you to. But what it does, Sandy, is that I would personally like for you, off the air, to share some of this with Kay, so that we can get this in writing, and we can go to the appropriate organizations that need to know about this. And this is why it's so important, folks, for all of us to be aware of what Sandy's talking about. If people like Sandy don't come forward and say they don't like something or they're not getting what they think they should, then the people that control the power, and I've got an article we're going to cover on the second part of the show about what seniors can do, and we're going to talk about that more on the second part of the show, not now. But Sandy, you have a lot of information that Kay needs to get. We need to document it. We needed to get it to our commissioners, because here in Brevard County, the county gives over $500,000 to county-based organizations that serve people, and I was present this week when that process was carried out. And so there are questions that need to be asked and need to be answered, not to cause a hullabaloo, but to get the truth out and to do a better job of being more cost-effective and service-effective in what we do with the dollars that are allocated by the federal government, by the state, and by local organizations.
Right.
And while I'm not a Trump fan, he has pointed that out several
true.
times. You know, the guy's a businessman.
That's right.
And he's made some strong points about what our government needs to do. We don't like to hear that because one of the first things that the average citizen thinks is that, oh, my God, they're going to take my entitlement program away from me.
Right.
That's not what they're trying to do. We're trying to make it possible for what you want to call entitlement programs, Medicaid, Medicare,
right.
Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that those things last.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of people taking advantage of them.
You're right.
We had a doctor here in Melbourne that billed to people for roughly $20 million. He got caught.
Yeah,
one of our major medical organizations did the same thing. They got caught.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, but you know, in thinking about it, those kind of things are a drop in a bucket. But when you start putting the drops together, make a pretty good sized puddle.
You bet. And I think, Sandy, if you're still on the line.
Yes, I am.
Okay, didn't you tell me also you were having some issues regarding being billed on your copay, and you kind of uncovered a little bit more on that aspect too, as I recall, right?
Yes, I did. This is what I'd like to get out to other people. If you have medical insurance, I pay for my insurance. Mm-hmm. But if you do have medical insurance, I don't care, you know, what brand or anything. I'm not here to promote a specific insurance company, but find out what's your policy. And if you have to ask for a supervisor, if you have to ask for somebody, not just somebody who answers the phone bank,
right.
but find out what your policy will cover. And if it may or may not, you may have to get that letter from a doctor to cover ABC, you know, medical equipment or something above, you know, that needs second approval. Mm-hmm. But if you can get second approval that your insurance will cover it under certain conditions to be met, that will save it from coming out of your pocket.
Right. Well, you're a smart lady here. I know that you're not only persistent in trying to fight your own battle and having gone through a lot what you've gone through, but the fact is that you're paying attention to dotting the I's and crossing the T's there, Miss Sandy.
Well, and dotting the I's and crossing the T's, to what I've listened to on this very short segment of our radio show, how about, Sandy, you getting with Kay and putting the essence of what you've talked about and what you've experienced in a short column that we can publish in our next issue of the newsletter, Helping Seniors, that goes in Senior Scene magazine, because this is the type of information that the average listener needs to understand.
Yeah.
Here's another good example. Last week, I spoke at the at a meeting of the Harris Retired Employees. There were roughly 100 people in attendance, and I talked about VA aid and attendance as part of my talk. After the lunch was over, the president of the organization came up and asked if a couple of ladies in the audience requested several more of my cards. And I said, certainly, why? He said, well, they qualify for aid and attendance because both their husbands were in World War II, and they're trying to live on less than $700 a month now, and they simply did not know about aid and attendance. So this goes back to I got a letter in the mail last week from a gentleman who read my column in Hometown News, and he said, you know, Joe, he said, VA aid and attendance is available for everybody, and what this gentleman thought was that the VA went out and made sure people knew about it. No, they don't. They don't. You have to know about this.
That's right.
And this is one of the reasons that I get so frustrated when I go to these meetings and apply for funding, because everybody takes for granted that we're just doing a radio show, we're just doing a TV show, or we got columns in this. They don't realize the importance of what's in those radio shows, the TV shows, and the newspaper columns. What's in there is information that people that are seniors and care for seniors need to know. They need to know that there are such things as VA aid and attendance available. They need to know that there are dentists. They need to know that there are dentists in the area that will do dentures for a very minimal price, because they realize that some people can't be helped. But, Sandy, I want to thank you for being on.
Yes, Sandy.
And please call Kay, okay?
Okay, I'll do that. And you guys have a good weekend.
Thank you, Connie. Same to you, and I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, we're just about at the half period show. What else? What else would you want to make a comment about?
Well, I wanted to comment because the aid in attendance, and this is what really separates us too. I'm not just giving a number out from a caller here immediately.
Al, we get to say we're going to take our mid-show break, folks, and I'll get Kay to bring this up about the VA aid in attendance when we come back, and we'll talk about the networks we're going to do. Stay with us.
Yep.
AM 1510, WMEL.
I'd like to take this opportunity to speak on a matter that I think is very important. I'm a senior citizen in Brevard County, just one of many. I'm almost 80 years old. I currently receive services through a local agency for light housekeeping and Meals on Wheels. My thoughts are this concerning seniors in Brevard County. We're overlooked, we're diminished, we're treated as if we don't matter. Anytime you pick up a local publication of paper, book, or whatever, you can see save this and save that and save the other cause. There's everything in those publications except save a senior.
I understand that you go out and help seniors with about all kinds of things. I don't have an awful lot of money. I'm living on about $90 a week, which I live alone, but I'm on food stamps.
I'm Joe Steckler, president of Helping Seniors of Brevard. We assist and connect seniors with resources to help them age with dignity.
Thank you over and over and over again, because I found out so much valuable information since talking to you that it's so beneficial and so helpful to me and going to be cost savings.
To support Helping Seniors through your own charitable donation, you may call 321-473-7770 or donate online at helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. This is Joe Steckler, folks. I'm back live for the second half of our Helping Seniors show for this Thursday, and the second part of the show will continue what Kay and I were talking about, but before that, I want to mention the phone number again for Kay at the office is 473-77770, and the sponsors for the second part of the show include Senior Scene Magazines, Hometown News, Spotlight Magazine, Seniors Helping Seniors, a home health care organization, the Fountains of Melbourne, Beth Courtney of the Braswell team, financial advisors, Canadian Meds of Melbourne, Wiedemann Malik, Vitas Hospice. It's important, and that's why Kay and I believe it's so important for you all to understand why we do this show. We do it so that people know more about what is available in Brevard County to help people. They need to know how to access those resources. But we're also finding out that we need to do a better job of putting access to these resources available. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Before that, I want Kay to finish about VA aid and attendance. And then she's got a testimonial we got permission to play on the air, because I think it shows, if you listen to what Kay is going to broadcast here in just a minute, you'll see why it's so important. Go ahead, Kate.
Okay. Well, what I wanted to bring to the audience's attention is the fact that if you call Helping Seniors of Brevard, you may have one issue that you're looking for a resource for. But I find 9 times out of 10, after speaking with an individual, they have several issues. And I will, quite frankly, if I'm talking to a woman that's got a very limited income, and I understand that she was married, her husband passed away, and I'll ask her, I said, wait a minute, did your husband serve in service? At least 90 days he was in, and 1 day of time of war? She says, well, yes, he did. I said, are you getting aid and attendance benefits? She said, most times they say, what's that? So I said, okay. Now, you said you're living on $700 a month, and you don't have assets over $80,000, do you? And she, most of them laughed. They said, "You got to be kidding! It's $700 a month." But the fact is that, I said, "I want you to here's a number I want you to call. I want you to ask a fellow by the name of Dennis, and let's get you going through this system here expeditiously so that you can create some additional income and take that burden off your shoulders." So it's simple as this: people don't know about it.
Right.
They don't know, but education is power. Knowledge is power. So that's why we do what we do, Joe, and the fact of trying to reach out and get the information out to the people through our various media. So you talk for a minute, and I'm going to load this little testimonial up here.
Okay, well, Kay's while she's going to load it up, folks, I think the reason I would like for you to listen to what Kay is going to put on the air is it shows some emotion, and it shows some appreciation of somebody as a result of the way Kay talked to them. You ready to go?
Yep.
Here we go.
Hi, this is Audrey, and I talked to Kay earlier today, and she told me to let her know the outcome. So there's no need for anybody to return my call. But Kay, thank you over and over and over again, because I found out so much valuable information since talking to you that it's so beneficial and so helpful to me and going to be cost saving. Thank you so much. I do appreciate your time and your help. Bye now.
That was a real testimonial, folks. That
right.
That wasn't asked for by us or anything at all. Okay.
Correct. This lady left this message on our voicemail, and it does get recorded so that we make sure that we return all of our calls. But it just goes to show that I ask my callers, I say, do me a favor. After you make these contacts with the resources that I've given you, would you please call me back and let me know the results? And 9 times out of 10 they do. And if they don't, I'm going to call them. But that was actually a recording that I got permission to play on the air today from a woman who was very grateful. She got done in just a few hours after talking with me and getting the right resources done, and it just changed her life dramatically.
Well, key things make so much difference. Jill Dunham, who is the director at the Space Coast Center for Independent Living, they have a wonderful, wonderful transportation program over there, folks. And she had applied for money from the county from community-based organizations, and she's sitting next to me while everybody made their pitch or answered the questions. And Jill had never gotten any, Space Coast Center had never, for independent living, had never gotten any money from the county for this kind of, for their transportation program. Somebody asked a question, and Jill said, well, we take veterans from their home to the VA and back to their home any place in the county for $10. I would be willing to make a large wager that the reason that she got funding of $57,000 for the county for her program was because of the comments she made about taking veterans for help for a cost of $10. But she also followed that up and said, if they can't afford the $10, we don't charge them anything. So, you know, this is what people need to know about, okay? And that's why we do what we do.
That's right.
And I started the show out by saying the name of the show was Why Support a Nonprofit? So many people think that nonprofits just magically get their money out of thin air. That's not true at all, folks. I'm also aware of the fact that as I approach my 82nd birthday that there is such a thing as age discrimination. It makes me mad. It makes me mad in heck, because I've had people actually say to me, well, Joe, what happens to you? Who's going to take over helping seniors? What's going to happen to that program? You do great work, but you're too old. I said, I'm still here. We're putting something in place that will exist beyond and past me, and one of the ways to do that is not to depend on funding that you can't depend on. Too many nonprofits do that. They don't build a solid funding base. And that's why we started our media sponsor program. We also started what we call an assistance network. And next week, we start to market this thing, folks. We will put together a network of electricians, plumbers, yard people,
mechanics,
painters, roofers, people that do the physical guts, hard labor around a home. And if you call our organization for that kind of help, you'll get a name of somebody that signed an ethics statement.
Right.
And we hope that will agree to give seniors a discount. Now, that's part of it. And then I got to thinking on the way out to the radio show today that years ago when I was a director over at the Alzheimer's Foundation, we put together a thing that we gave out to everybody called. We listed the really good nursing homes, the good assisted living facilities, the doctors that cared for seniors, that were geriatric doctors. It's all gone by the wayboard. But we're going to resurrect that.
Yay.
And hopefully within the next 2 to 3 months, we will put together a network such that if you have children that live in New York and they want to call and ask about what is a good nursing home, what is a good assisted living facility, what doctor will treat seniors.
And I get that now.
I know you get it.
Requests.
I know you get it.
And I know a lot of people have been calling about, with the rain and everything, good roofer. So we're looking, and we know that this is so badly needed. There's nothing really put together like that to help our seniors.
It does not exist,
That's
folks.
right.
And I know, we're going to make it happen.
You bet.
But at the same time, I know I'm not Rockefeller, and I'm not Trump. But I can afford to give something to nonprofits, and I do that. But there are more people that listen to this radio show, that watch the TV shows, that read the columns in the newspaper, could easily afford a $100 donation a year. $100 a year.
Imagine how that could be compounding.
But
to us.
if I had 1,000 people out of 545,000 that gave $100 a year,
right.
That's $100,000, and with all we're doing, we would have more than enough to fund our operation. And you've heard me say this over the air, folks. You've heard me say it on TV, and you've seen it in my printed columns. All the money in excess of operational costs will go into an endowment to help seniors. And that is the one thing that this county does not have. And those of you that are listening to the show, think about, some of you have probably called me to ask me for help, how to help somebody else. I had 2 calls like that at my house this morning. Not one call. But it happens all the time. People call me because I've been involved in the system. People call Kay. And folks, there's something else that you need to know. Those phone calls you make to us on the weekend are logged on a computer.
Yes.
Kay checks the computer. I check it too. And sometimes I'll send an email to Kay and say, did you answer this? And I have never had her say I did not. She always does. So
even when I'm sick.
Yeah, I know that. Of course. But what is important, Kay, is that people get a better understanding that we're trying to put something in place in Brevard County against a lot of odds,
right?
Without a lot of cooperation from organizations that could help us if they wanted to.
Exactly.
And yet at the same time, we go outside the county to get money to help people in Brevard County when we have 545,000 people live here, and we have a large number of people that do donate. But along that line, if we do what I'm talking about with these networks, we have a major fundraiser, then we will have the wherewithal to help people.
Yes.
And folks, many of you have been to the auction I used to do at the Alzheimer's Foundation. We used to raise sometimes $40,000 and $50,000 through the art show. But it's a way that you can help contribute to putting a program in place that will be here to help people. I got kind of frustrated because we didn't get county funding. We didn't get awarded funding first. I just want you to know that. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up because there are a lot of things that need to be asked of our county commissioners about how some of these decisions are made. And if we're afraid to make the decisions, then there was an article. A lot of people, you send me articles, folks. And one guy sent me an article, and he said, let's see, I still got the thing on it. It said here, Joe, for your information, and he signed it John. Seniors can make a difference in the world. And the big quote was the thing. He said, a life of constant complaining is like a steady diet of persimmons. It puckers your personality and wrinkles your soul. What he is saying is, stop complaining and do something. Don't just say the government's spending too much money on stuff.
Right.
Take a little bit of what you have and send it to us, or call Kay at the office, and we'll give you our address. You can send us a check. We'll put it in the bank and help. You'll help us help some other people. And you might just feel good about participating.
I want to make a comment on that endowment fund, because I'm not sure that maybe listening on it knows exactly what you mean by that. Most of my callers are on a very limited income. I have another fellow who's looking to get upper and lower dentures on a very, $700 and some a month. But he's been trying to save every penny to get, these new dentures and so forth. But imagine if we had that endowment fund in place that could be maybe contributing a little bit towards helping this gentleman pay for those dentures. So these are things that, you talk about the warm and fuzzy and feeling good. If you helping seniors of Brevard with a small donation, whatever you can afford, imagine how that's going to help others who can't help themselves.
Yeah, and the other thing, Kay, is that when organizations that will help fund nonprofit organizations, when they see the local community participate,
right,
that gives them a much warmer, fuzzy feeling about giving some of their money to help.
Right.
We've got an organization, it's out of New York, that helped us with a $75,000 grant year before last, and we believe they'll do the same thing again this year. But, those kind of things are like icing on a cake. And if we have operational funding in place through our media sponsors, our provider network, our own fundraiser, and an annual fund drive, and local donations,
right,
all these grants that we get can be placed into the endowment to help people.
Exactly.
And that's why it's important. And folks, I challenge you to go to the internet, call out a nonprofits, and find out how many have an endowment and do what I'm talking about. I challenge you to do that. I already know the answer. So, but if you find the answer out yourself, you might feel very good about helping somebody do something else. But let's get back to what we were talking about, the importance of nonprofit organizations and what we can do. I think, Kay, that in the short time we have left, I'd like for you to expand on a theory about what media outreach can do and why it's so important for our listeners not only to know about our radio, TV, and newspaper columns, but it's important that they help us spread the word that these things are available.
Right. Well, I get a lot of calls even today, recently, the people who are talking about helping seniors. They say, one of the questions I ask the callers, how'd you find out about us? And it is through our media outreach. But now what's coming back is a friend told me, or you help someone, and I need some help now too. So the idea is that, it's really going full circle. It's not a matter of just saying, okay, people are talking about us. That's the bottom line. People are aware of helping seniors of Brevard. I'm getting referrals from agencies that I didn't even think knew about us at this point too.
Well, I'm not going to mention names, but I want you as listeners to understand exactly what I'm saying right now. Many of you need to put trusts and estate plans in place.
Right.
I know for a fact that there are attorneys in Brevard County that will charge $8,000 to $10,000 to do that. Because people have called me and said, this is what I was quoted, Joe. You know somebody will do it at a better price?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes, I do. And I give them a couple names.
Mm-hmm.
And invariably, the people will call back and say, how can there be that much of a difference? Where one might charge 10, another person that truly knows what they're doing and does this as a minor priority of business does it for $30,000 or $3,500.
Right.
I have sat in the attorney's office and listened to him talk to a family, ask the questions, and then quote the prices.
Wow.
So, that's why it's so important for us to put this medical network in place, the provider network in place, and our media sponsors. And that's why you need to look at our website, helpingseniors.brevard.org. Go on there and look at the rug gallery that we're going to have for sale over at that auction. Take a look at the TV shows we have archived. Look at the comments and the articles we have from the newspaper. Listen to these radio shows. This one will be archived by tomorrow night on the website.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just us, folks. You can call your family in New Jersey, California, and say, go to the website, and you can listen to the radio show that is done on WMEL, AM 1060. You can get that through the 1060 website, or you can get it through our archive site.
Absolutely.
It's important people start to know about this stuff, and I'm tired of not or being afraid to challenge authority the right way. I'm not saying to complain about, I'm saying do something.
Right.
And if I'm afraid to do it, then how am I going to ask somebody else to write a letter? And folks, if you don't like what's happening, if you seniors don't like something, go to these commission meetings.
You bet.
We're going to start calling. We have an advocacy group. And by the way, our advocacy plan has been submitted to the county commissioners.
Yes.
So far, only one has commented about the advocacy plan. So, persistence, not complaining, persistence the right way. I don't intend to become a persimmon.
There you go.
I'm not going to be a persimmon, and I know Kay is not afraid, and he's going to be a persimmon.
You bet.
We're going to be advocates, and that's what we need you to be, too.
Call 473-7770 if you need any help on your resources. We're here to help you.
All right. Thank you for listening to us today. Maybe a little outspoken today, but folks, it's time that we speak out for ourselves. Seniors need to fight for what we need. Talk to you later. See you next week. Bye-bye.
I second that emotion.
Okay, bye.